If, if we consider the market momentum for the day, it has been rather tepid, and we are seeing the Dow Jones futures also trading almost flat, not to say anything different for the other two key equity indices for the United States. Even for the European trading indices, it has been a tepid day, but of course, we saw some jump after the data came in for Germany. And apart from that, it has been an uneventful day. But we had this important monetary policy announcement coming in from the Bank of Japan, though it didn't really cause much of an impact in the equity index for the Japan, or for that matter, the Japanese yen. And the reason has been that Bank of Japan hasn't done any changes in its monetary policy, and it has adopted to continue with the status quo, where it has left the interest rates unchanged at minus 0.1%, and its government bond yield target at 0%. So there is no change. But it has announced to extend the additional purchases of the commercial paper and corporate bonds till the end of September 2021. And also, it has said that to better target its inflationary mandate of 2%, it will try to find better ways, and it will release its finding by March next year. So we will see how that goes. So far, the Bank of Japan has not been able to achieve its 2% target, and this has been the story for almost a decade now. Moving on to the European trading session, we got these better than expected numbers for the IFO business climate for Germany, and the major contributing factor has been more optimistic outlook from the participants, both for the current conditions as well as the future expectations, as more and more people are believing that the business conditions are going to improve, notwithstanding the current strict lockdowns being enforced in Germany. So that has contributed to this better than expected reading. Moving on to the North American section, we don't really have any major data coming in for the US. And for the Canada, we had these retail sales numbers for the month of October. And here also, the reading is better than expected at 7.5%, and Canadian retail sales have continued their upward trajectory, which has been the case for almost 4 to 5 months now. Moving on to the technical front, we will cover the Euro USD and Dow Jones Industrial Average. Today being the last trading day of the week, we are not really trying to look for any fresh trading opportunities. Rather than that, this is going to be the review of what has happened so far in this week. Let's start with the Euro USD's technical outlook. This week has been nothing less than phenomenal for the Euro USD, as it got the long awaited break above this consolidation zone, and it has gone to hit the multi-year highs at 1.225. Even in today's session, it has been able to hold on to its prior gains, and there has not been much of any selling pressure. And I think it is not really going to correct much from the current levels. We will see long consolidation, and it will be better for us to keep looking for buying opportunities only. The ATR has now gone lower. It has declined to some extent after this consolidation phase. But if we see this strong price momentum sustaining, then again the revival is expected. But as of now, it is lower than what it was a couple of weeks back. And if we consider the current valuation, it is sitting pretty at the second resistance zone of this month's pivot point series. And I think it is likely to hold closer to this level. And on the lower side, the prior consolidation phase highs are likely to act as its near-term support. So anything above 1.215 should be good enough for fresh long opportunities. But at the moment, it is pretty difficult to figure out the entries for any long trade at the fair risk reward ratio. Currently, the risk will be rather too high after its spurt on the higher side once the monetary policy announcement came in from the Federal Reserve. That day onward, it has climbed almost 150 pips and it has been able to sustain those gains. And as a result of that, both these technical indicators, the regression curve, as well as the pivot point series are continuously pointing upward. But how up it can go, even from the current levels where it already looks overstretched, I think that will be a difficult question to answer. Our job will always be to look for optimum risk reward ratio, and that looks a tough job for the day. And if we want to figure out any near term, short term support, then I think we will have to watch out for any convergence around this 50 SMA zone in coming sessions. And the SMA has indeed tried to catch up with the price action after this long move on the higher side. And in a session or two, I am expecting this price action as well as the 50 SMA to converge, and then it will be interesting to see how the price action unfold. If it drops below 50 SMA, then we can expect the correction to deepen somewhat. But still, as I said, the prior swing highs around 1.215 are likely to act as the near-term support. So we are not really expecting any big correction for the time being. And as the day is unfolding, the price action is rather tepid. It is range bound, and for the session, it is, as I said before, also fairly difficult to go for any trade either on the long side or on the short side. So for the day, I would suggest sitting it out and see how the week closes. And depending on the day's closing, we will be in better position to judge for the Monday. So once we come back for trading on Monday, we will have, I think, a more evolved situation. Moving on to the Dow Jones Industrial Average technical outlook. The Dow Jones Industrial Average hasn't really moved much this week, and it has been the narrowest week for Dow Jones Industrial Average in quite a while now. As you can see, it has remained range bound and it has consolidated along its 30,000 price level, and it has done a couple of times above and below it, but nothing much to take note of. As of now, the underlying momentum remains strongly biased towards the long side, and there it is not showing any signs of being overbought or any marker for being in correction zone. Rather, I think even from the current valuation, it has the room to run higher, and it will be better for us if we keep looking for the buying opportunities. Even in today's session, I am expecting the momentum to remain on the buy side, and it will be interesting to see if we can get any further break above these consolidation levels. So if you want to figure out the possible moves, I think any crucial sustained break below these 30,300 mark is going to be crucial. And for last almost many weeks, the 30,300 mark has kept the Dow Jones Industrial prices almost locked, and we haven't really seen any sustained buying above that. It has struggled to cross and hold above it. So for today's session, it will be interesting to see how things unfold. And any break above it, I think, is likely to open the door for the Dow Jones Industrial Average to move further on the higher side, and then the near term targets will work out above these 30,500. Even 1 percentage point move, I think, can't be ruled out. Even that is possibility for today's session itself. So we will have to see how it goes. And if you want to take some risk, you can indeed go for the long opportunities in today's session itself while keeping the stop loss fairly sharp. I think the intraday perspective, the price range around 30,200 should be good enough to act as the lead on the lower side. And if we can get any trade around the current market price, then that is going to give us good risk reward ratio. But of course, any trade is risky, but still I feel as long as the Dow Jones Industrial Average is holding well above this 50 SMA marker, we can continue to bet on its possible upside momentum. And if we can go for that, then the stop loss is not going to be much wider, just little closer to this yeah, morning low should be good enough. So we will see how it goes. And as I said, in a today's session, we can indeed expect the price zone around 30,500, but for that, the break above these prior resistance will be crucial. And the underlying momentum so far has been conducive to its continued rally on the higher side. But the only thing which we have to worry about it's range bound. It's remaining range bound where it doesn't really move much in the either direction, and in that kind of situation, it will be frustrating for us. So that's it from my side for today's session. If you have any idea to share or any query, you can write to me in the feedback, and I will be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead and a fabulous weekend. See you on Monday. Do subscribe to the Ducos Community Webinar channel to stay updated on the market developments. Goodbye.